The world is fundamentally changing, and a lot of old ways don't work anymore. I believe there was never more prominent time for this radical change and building our businesses differently. My name is Elaira, and in this new business paradigm podcast, I challenge all business concepts and I bring new and different perspectives for the ways we work, build our businesses, and ourselves. I believe in the economy of care, and I stand for creating businesses your own authentic way while doing it with ease, effortless flow, and joy. I would like to invite the experience of entrepreneurship as a journey of more homecoming to yourself. This topic is such an important topic, and I really want to welcome this topic today in more depth because sometimes we underestimate the impact it has for us, for our energy, for our life experience, for our business, for our cash flow, how much we can hold, how much we can expand our capacity, how much we can build ourselves. And it's usually coming through boundaries. So, and not only boundaries, but boundaries capacity. So I want to ask you, where do you feel, guys, you are on the boundaries capacity? If one would be like zero boundaries, huge energetic leaks, too available, dramas in your life. And 10 is where you have really, really strong boundaries. You really feel your energy is clean. Your life is where you want to go in business. You're very okay to say no, and you're claiming your yes. Where are you in that? But it's good to just, first of all, to be aware, like where I am with that, to bring this topic more in priority on your table, to realize where I need to do more work. Like every month and every week almost, I'm doing this review of my capacities and a little bit like checkpoints, like where I am on boundaries, where I'm on structures, like which one is like strong this month, which one I need to kind of pick up, and am I invited to rise stronger? So what do you think is boundaries capacity? What is your definition? So in my definition, boundaries and boundary is kind of the healthy line, the healthy boundary, and ability to guard where you start and where you end, who you are and who you are not, what you want to experience and what not, what is okay for you and what is not, what is yes and what is no. And in very simplistic way, like in very kind of summarized way, because if you have clear boundaries, it's kind of this container which can hold water in, and that water would be your energy. So when you have healthy, clear boundaries, it gives you ability to guard your time, it gives you ability to guard your energy, it gives ability to be clear of your identity, who you are, who you're not, what you want to manifest, what you want to experience, what you want to tolerate and what not, what you want to allow in your field and what not. And that's what you choose through the boundaries. And you have free will to do that. And that's actually how you form your identity. It's through the boundaries, because every yes and no shapes new way of your identity. And your business and your experience. So for me, boundaries is really that access tool to craft my life. Like, this is where I start, this is where I end, this is what I want to experience, and this is what I don't. And it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be mentally logical. It can. But for me, that healthy boundary is full-bodied and embodied boundary. So sometimes your body communicates to you your yes and no, what you're available for and what not. And then, like your body says no, but your mind says, oh, but I cannot say no. It's inappropriate. I have to be politically correct. It's morally correct, not correct. No, it's nothing about that. It's like literally learning to listen whole of you and you being your benchmark. It's a self-respect. It's honoring like all holistic, all bodies. And there are different kind of boundaries. So it can be energetic boundaries, it can be emotional boundaries, mental boundaries, physical boundaries, space boundaries, social boundaries, like all kind of boundaries. And embodied healthy boundary is when it's aligned through all of those fields. When you are in business and you, for example, mentally you say no to the client, but energetically you say yes, you're still welcome, it will not work. This is not a line boundary. And this is where then we have to go with this very strong emotional pushing back no. But embodied boundary, embodied no feels very light, feels very gentle. It's just no. Because there's no other leakages for that other energy to sneak in. It feels very, there's no force power there. And it's, I chose to talk about this topic because I think boundaries capacity is one of the critical ones at these times we are living. I don't know how about you guys, but I notice these multidimensional attacks, like, or people patterns, people purifications, like mental, all kind of crazy things happening, amplified recently and will be amplified. Like these things for me, I feel like it's at this given time period we're living, it's kind of normal daily situation. And especially with these multidimensional attacks, they even stronger at these times because they will do anything to destroy anything different, anything good, anything pure. So in these times, you even more invited to fine tune and be strict with your boundaries. Otherwise, you will not be able to survive or even thrive. Before you could be a bit more kind of loose with your boundaries, and these times you cannot afford even slide off because you're opening all kind of leakages. So when you don't have strong boundaries or clear boundaries, what happens, you kind of, if you imagine that bucket of container which holds your energy and you and your embodiment and your energy, with every not clear boundary, you open the leakage, the hole. And with every leakage, it would be like trying to swim with a boat which has a lot of holes. You just cannot move forward. Because with every not clear boundary and no boundary at all, you open, first of all, your energy leakage, but secondly, you're inviting all kind of other energies to fill the space. Because it's universal law, the space always fills in. So if you don't claim that space, someone else will claim with what they want to. Same as goes with embodiment. Like if you're not in your body, who is in your body? When it comes to business, I notice in the beginning, when you build your business, and if you are not strong in your boundaries capacity in the beginning, it's really uncomfortable. And it goes a lot through aligned action. Because you have to do a lot of cleanup if you didn't practice your boundaries capacity. And I notice with every expansion or next level, not next evolution of me, of my business and my identity and my expansion, the first sign that I am stepping into new level is testing my boundaries. Because through the boundaries, you get to redefine who you say no to. I'm no longer this. And through the boundaries, you can say, I'm inviting more of this. I'm welcoming more of that. That's how you kind of change and grow and expand. And more I start to build my business within every next level. So beginning was a lot of like understanding what my boundaries are, defining those boundaries, like a lot of aligned action, a lot of no, a lot of yes. More I expand, more that boundary capacity turns into fine-tunement. So what was okay before, now it's you know, like even more slight deviations are fine-tuned, because otherwise I cannot hold more. So before, for example, it was okay for me that the clients like forget to pay and they paid later. At this time, I cannot allow that, because I cannot hold my business this way. I'm choosing even more like who I want to work with, who is okay to be in my sanctuary, who I'm allowing, what kind of behavior I'm allowing. So it's more and more fine-tuning, it's more and more self-respect, because boundaries, it's a lot about self-respect. It's a lot about honoring your truth. And the funny thing, when you honor your truth and you honor your own respect and your body communication, simply sometimes without stories, if your body says yes or your body says no, you honor that. Funnily enough, it's usually good for the other part. Like when you say yes or no for yourself, everyone who's involved usually realigns their boundaries too. So we're so afraid to say no, but actually what we're, if we say no to ourselves, it's a self-abuse. And then you're just tolerating abuse frequency in your field. And the thing is, most of us are so struggling with boundaries capacity, because boundaries capacity usually starts to be developed in our childhood, when we start to develop our identity and experiment, you know, in that phase, like, no, 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 when we discover the no. But the thing is, we were not really allowed to develop that healthy way often. So not we were only denied to what we need and appreciated and respected, we were declined that, and we were told what we need. We were told what our boundaries are. And this way we didn't learn to be healthy with our boundaries. It feels terrifying in our social context to keep healthy boundaries. So it's that's why we have this boundaries capacity, which is the muscle we have to courageously build. And it gets easier. Like at the beginning is the hardest, when you have to do a cleanup, but later on it's more, as I say, fine-tunement work. And boundaries in business in a healthy and unhealthy way can look like that. Like, for example, in a healthy way, it can look, I'm available to respond only on Tuesdays, or I will respond to you in 2-3 days. I am having sessions just on these days. Or, for example, I realized I have a one-on-one package with people, but they have, and they have certain kind of amount of sessions they can use. And what I noticed, some people use, like, let's say there are 6 sessions, they use 5, and then they keep that one for months and don't use it. And energetically, I'm connected with them. I can feel them. And energetically, they sneak in my energetic field and feeding on and the energy. So my one-on-one container package, how I kind of fine-tune boundaries is with, like, you have this amount of sessions to be used in this amount of time. And then we cut energetic connection there, energetic agreement. It's especially if you're sensitive, if you're, this new earth pioneer, usually we are very sensitive because that's, I think, the new people. You have to be super, super clear and super, super clean on your boundaries every day, because every day you fine tuning with every yes and no, you fine tuning who you are, who you're becoming, and what are you building. And I don't believe in maybe. I believe there is yes and there is no. If it's a maybe, it's a no. Because if it's maybe in your body, it often, in my experience, is like, I don't have full information, I'm not clear about it, it's not the right time, but it means it's no in this moment. And the first thing about boundaries capacity, for what I figured out, is to really learn how your body communicates yes and no. First, really, really learn to pick up all those signals and then honor that without rules, without conditions, without justifications. Because no is a full sentence. You don't need to make stories there. You don't need to explain yourself. No is a no. And the funny thing, what I also discovered, when you don't know your own boundaries, when you don't honor your own boundaries, you're not only abusing yourself, you're abusing the other, because you also don't know where other person boundary starts and ends. And you don't do that consciously, you do that subconsciously. Every client who comes with bad boundaries capacity in my field, I immediately guard up, and I know I have to really be very clear with boundaries. And it's very frustrating because I have to tighten up and be overprotective because they don't care of their own boundaries, and then it means they don't have the feel of other people's boundaries. So I want to ask you, how do you know when your body communicates no to you? When it's a no. The no can show up as the form as overwhelm. Your body says it's enough. It's a no. I cannot take more. The no can show up exactly constriction or tightness in your gut. The no can come on blankness, sometimes also sirens going off in my system. Yes, blankness, like even when you think about that topic, you start to kind of check out. You cannot really connect. Or uneasy feeling, yeah, hesitation. Yes, that's the signal. Like, I'm annoyed, I'm frustrated, I am bitter, I am angry. Anger is literally your body saying very strong no. That's all there is. And that's why we're so conditioned not to allow anger, because, then we are really clear with our boundaries. And it's not good for others that you are with clear boundaries. Or simply feeling unsafe. It's your body saying no. Or when things feels forced. Or you feel numb and you cannot feel anything. Or you don't feel ready. Or you need some time. These all kind of, and there are many, many more, but these are all the signs for your body. It's a no. So the question is, how many times did you trust that? And how many times did you override that? And that comes to like saying yes and no to clients, saying yes, no to working right now, saying yes, no to 4 months, of work and programs and so on. It's not only personal life, as you know, I'm talking about the business. It took me a really long time to learn to trust my body when my body says no, to work with this client, to trust that. because I always got to know later why. But your intuition, your body's, sensations pick up all the information. And sometimes there is nothing wrong with another person or nothing wrong with that format. It's just simply not best use of your energy. Maybe it's just simply life redirecting you to better or bigger dreams you have. It's not only your boundary, it's not only about saying no. Boundary is a lot about saying yes as well. And this is where people struggle a lot also. We're so conditioned to focus on the no. But what do you say yes to? Do you say yes to? Are you clear what you're saying yes to? So if you are not clear on your boundaries capacity, usually in the business, it shows up. Just a few examples. It's very hard for you to say no. You're so afraid of backlash. You give a lot of stuff clients for free. You overworked or overscheduled, overgiving. You work with clients who don't want you, that you don't want to work with. And I'm not saying in the beginning of the business, you need to experiment and you need to try it out, all kind of things till you figure out who you are and where your boundaries are. So I'm not saying, it's in all stages of your business. I'm talking in general. You're constantly available. This is a big one for women, especially because we condition as women to be constantly giving and constantly all the time available. You're allowing people to influence you too much and define what you should do, but also what success is for you. And also you have a lot of drama people in your field. What I learned, if I am already scared to say no to the person, I need to say no. If I'm scared to say no to the person because I'm afraid of backlash, I'm afraid that person will start to manipulate a backlash to me or drop into victimhood and all this stuff. Now I really know I really need to say no. This is a signal for me. Because people who are very good with their boundaries usually never have issues with your no. They respect your no. And it doesn't feel threatening to say no. Usually only people who have really bad boundaries or rejection, codependency issues, usually these are the people who have issues to other people setting the boundaries for them. So the first step is to know how your body communicates the boundaries, how to find safety, and how to understand, like where you start, where you end. And then the next step, usually, so this is the first step where I deepen really much in nervous system care program, like really understanding your body. And the next step is deepening the boundaries capacity. And boundaries capacity difference is deepening in your ability to hold no and hold yes. And what that means, hold no, is not only to being able to sit with this uncomfort of saying no, but also sit with maybe rejection, find safety in rejection. Because rejection is a constant thing. No, not only you saying no, but also holding no from others. It's very, very deep process to go there. And holding capacity for yes is really saying yes for goodness, really saying yes to life, really saying yes for all your desires and feeling safe with that. Because as I mentioned before, our biggest fear and struggle, not to deal with the problems and stress and struggles, but actually really to allow the goodness. We have such a high capacity to handle the shit, but we have such a little capacity to really allow the joy, the love, the safety, the trust, the abundance, all our desires. And that's what yes is, our dream life, the people and the person you want to become, crafting and claiming the freedom, because the freedom, with a lot of freedom comes a lot of responsibilities to choose that, to say yes, to claim that. So that's where we go deeper in the capacity path program, like to deepening those two pillars and really going very to the detail, like where this shows up in your business and your personal life. Like I have inventory of like what is where is your boundaries capacity, and these are examples how it can show up in your business. And I mentioned a few of the things today, like how it may show up. So I give it a pause for a moment, just feel yourself a bit and feel your body and notice how the energy comes back to you instead of looking at the screen and listening. And just notice how all this topic sinks in with you.